All right, we ready to get this party started, y'all. Welcome to That Pod Podcast 305. Papa Keith and Janae Tate. And we got a very, very special guest today. And we're going to jump right into it. But first of all, let me see the beautiful face of my amazing co-host and, of course, our special guest before we jump into things, man. We thank you. We got a little late start, but thank you for tapping in. You're going to have an amazing opportunity to get up close and personal and find out why a legendary figure here in South Florida is going to be running to serve you in Congress, man. And we definitely want to give him that opportunity to do just that. So I'm going to jump things off with his intro. All right. Luther Luke Campbell is a Miami hip-hop pioneer, entrepreneur, community activist, and political leader, best known as the leader of the Two Live Crew, a central figure in the rise of Miami-based music. Uncle Luke helped to push hip-hop into new territory with bold, unapologetic content that sparked national debates over free speech and censorship, leaving a lasting impact on the music industry. Beyond entertainment, he has dedicated decades to mentoring young people throughout South Florida's youth football programs and advocating for underserved communities. Today, Luke continues to expand his legacy throughout public service as he pursues a seat in the U.S. Congress with a platform focused on economic opportunity, education, public safety, and ensuring South Floridian communities have a stronger voice in Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Luther Uncle Luke Campbell.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? Thank you for
Hey.
having me on.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you, brother.
Wait, what he said?
He said great intro. We definitely try. So we're gonna jump right into things. We want to welcome everybody who's entered the chat room. Feel free to chime in with some comments and different things that maybe questions you may have for Luke. We'll try to tackle those as we go through some of the questions we have already sorted out for the candidates. We usually give them the same questions so that you guys can have an opportunity to compare their responses to make a more educated decision when it comes time to vote. All right, so you ready, Janae?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'll kick things off. For people who may meet you for the first time, Luther Campbell, please tell us who you are beyond the campaign and beyond, your musical career. So, like, when the cameras are off, who are you?
Again, thank you guys for having me on your show. I saw you had quite a few candidates on, and you guys do a great job of letting everybody have an opportunity to be able to speak, even though I know you all from the culture, which is a beautiful thing. I totally respect that. Who I am beyond the campaign and beyond politics, I'm a community builder. I'm a person who has always fought for the people of my community, whether it's my state. I really take representing serious. When we say, hey, look, I represent my hood, I represent this, I represent that, I take that serious. I always look at that as if I'm gonna be a representative of my community, I take my platform and I use it to the best of my ability for my community. And that's why, beyond this campaign thing, when you look at my history, I was the first to start hip hop in the South when nobody wanted to happen and nobody thought it was going to happen. I started out of the trunk of my car. I started my DJing career, at my house in my front yard. I had my first Pac-Man machine in my mom's garage, and in that same garage is where I stored all the records when I started Luke Records and Two Live Crew and Anquet and Pitbull and Trick Daddy and all these different people who I discovered and put out. And so I look at, beyond the candidates part of it, and then I, look at my career and saying, hey, look, I didn't want kids to go through the same thing and I went through when I had to be bused in Miami Beach and told that you had to be off the beach after 6 o'clock, you would go to jail. And so I started my own youth program. co-founded it with Sam Johnson at Charles Hadley Park at a little small boxing gym that was already rat infested. And, I look at where we're at right now today. I was the one who spearheaded, getting $16 million to rebuild our park to be able to have classrooms and a turf football field where you see my name on the stadium, which I didn't ask for. And, I look at, places like Gibson Park, who are our brothers. My mom is from town. And so, it was important to help them rebuild their park. So I, was a part of spearheading $24 million to help rebuild that park and, get another $5 million, work with Darren Hosendorf and bring in the partnership with Adidas to Miami-Dade County Public Schools and building a stadium at Edison when there was no stadium, when nobody even thought about putting turf fields at high schools in Miami-Dade County. So I look at a lot of things that I spearheaded. I could sit here and talk all day about things outside the politics, but I think that's what qualifies me to be able to run.
That's what's up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for hopping on, and you've been hopping into my lives, and thank you to Tangela who connected the dots. So this is really dope to have you here. So my question is, what is one thing voters misunderstand about you?
What is one thing voters misunderstand about me is the fact that how serious I am in politics. How the things that I've been able to accomplish, what I just mentioned, it took me down the road of politics and understand the political process because you don't find nobody gives a blighted community $24 million or $16 million. Nobody does that. Nobody. You need to know about politics in order to get a football field built in a partnership with Adidas to be able to get those things in a partnership with Miami Dolphins. So people don't look at me from that standpoint, but I was thrown into politics when I was a kid. My dad is Jamaican and my mom is Bahamian and my uncle Ricky Sturp is the Sturp family. If you know anything about the rich history of us, we built Miami, literally built Miami. And when you look at the history books, you will see a guy named Sturp and the Sturp family came over here and, built Miami. And that's what it is. So I wasn't able to look at cartoons when I was a kid. I was able to, I had to read books. I had to understand who H. Rap Brown was. I had to understand who Malcolm X was, Marcus Garvey. I had to understand the struggle because I was always told that at some point in your life, they're going to put invisible chains on you. And so when you come from a Caribbean background, a Jamaican daddy and a Bahamian uncle, you gonna know politics. It's gonna be all about politics in that house. And so they put me, I was the perfect person to be put into the storm of fighting for free speech when I had to fight for it because I was so well abreast of who we were as a people.
That's what's up. That.
Oh, because I had a follow up about the free speech, but I feel like we both are gonna ask about that.
Nah, go for it.
I mean, because I think people, think about you as the rapper, the Miami, hip hop icon, and even too just as a philanthropist and a mentor to especially like young black and brown boys. But I think a lot of times we forget that without you, and the work that you did around like free speech, that the music and just different things in the arts would not be able to have free expression without you. So sometimes when people are like, well, why would Luke, have want to get into politics? It's like, well, he kind of started with this way back into your career. So can you speak to, why it was so important for you at that time to be able to fight for free speech and what that meant for you and how it's prepared you for this time now in your political career?
Yeah, I mean, it clearly prepared me. I mean, here I'm running in a county where I live at for the last 15 years, Broward County, and I fought the most notorious sheriff and won that this county has ever had in Nick Navarro, the world famous Nick Navarro, who put my records in jail when Charles Friedman had a record shop. And who put me in jail when I went and sung a song that was deemed obscene when I knew I was going to go to jail. So I challenged them every step of the way because that's what I am. I'm a fighter. Nobody tells me what to do, when to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to want to do, which is what I feel is right. And so it put me in a situation where, you have to know the laws and you have to know the laws of the land, and we went through these things in every city, any municipality that we went to, whether it was Cincinnati, and as soon as we get off the airplane, it was the state attorney and the sheriff, saying that you do this and you do that. And so I had to understand, and we had to understand, what we could say and what we couldn't say, because everything was politically motivated. When you got Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, who's a sitting senator, and his wife putting you on a black list, that's politics. When you have Dan Quayle, who's the vice president of the United States, on the tarmac, saying 2 Live Crew and Luther Campbell, questioning our free speech, Governor Martinez, making statements and trying to create policy to affect what we do and how we do it. Again, that's politics. And so you're thrust into this whether you like it or not. And like I say, being the person who I am and how I was raised, I was the perfect storm to be able to deal with this. Yes, it cost me a lot of money, at the end of the day, but I was doing it. I was literally doing it for the culture, because I know people behind me, the people behind me, either they were going to, if I win, there won't be a situation where there's a Mann Act that's still left on the books, where a person could end up going to jail for a law, for a case that happened 100 years ago. No, my case was nasty as they want to be. That case, the record was deemed obscene, and I erased it off the books by going and appealing it. And the same thing when it comes to whether parody is protected by the First Amendment. That case went to the United States Supreme Court, and all that was politics. Whether you like it or not, you don't go to the Supreme Court and your record get put in jail. You get put in jail, and it's not politically motivated. So, I look at those pathways prepared me to who I am and where I am today.
That's what's up. Luke, you've showed interest into politics before, and considered running before. So I'm curious, why are you running for office? Now. Why is now the right time, Luke?
Now is the right time because of where we're at right now as South Floridians, where we're at as a country. We have Donald Trump in office. He's trying to do any and everything to attack anything or anybody that looks like us. Him and J.D. Vance, they're on this all attack against us black people, whether you're Jamaican and them and Carlos Jimenez having an issue with the Jamaican Prime Minister, or whether you're Haiti, TPS, all these things are right now, these are issues right now, whether it's simple, not simple, but whether it's Black history, whether they're banning books, for books, I won't understand. I won't be where I'm at right now today. And so, branding us with DEI, that probably got me because, they were able to push this message of DEI and brand us and label us, no matter how this young lady may go and become the top of her class at Harvard or Yale or Howard or FAMU, she would be the most qualified person for that job. But because of DEI and because she's black, she will be prevented from getting that job. And so things like that, and me understanding the political process, just like you all, and being very outspoken on a lot of issues, said to me, right now is the time because of this climate. Right now is the time because of what we've lost in South Florida. We've basically lost Miami. Miami is not the Miami that I grew up with and grew into. It's been gentrified, and we can't afford to live here. And when I look at Broward, I look at all those cases that I mentioned. All those cases happen in Broward County. And I have never been able to repay the people of Broward County for being a partner in my acquittal of all those cases, because there were juries of my peers. And the fact that I live here, I go all over the place. People ask me, hey, why you coaching at Norland? You a city dude. And I'm like, why you at Edison? That's a Haitian school. And all these things. And I say, if I'm gonna represent South Florida, there's no place that I can't go. And so, when I look at it, I look at this being the last of our kind to be able to save the last. This Broward County is the last county that we, as African Americans, as Black Americans, as Jamaicans, Bahamians, Haitians, this is the last county for us. To be honest with you, because when I go through the neighborhoods, and I go to the clubs, and I go to the restaurants, and I go to the entertainment, it's vibrant, it's living. What do we have left in Miami, to be honest with you? Let's keep it real. The wharf, not the wharf, but the
urban.
The urban. I mean, how many restaurants do we have left? MLK, and a couple of them. That's what we were, and we've lost that. And so when I look at Broward County, the county that I live in, is, I can do something about it. I can make this the Black Wall Street of America, no different than what I've done with any place and every place that I went. I made it better than I found it, and I made it a 5-star situation. I know I can do that here.
That's what's up. Thank you.
Before we talk about the issues, Luke, tell our audience what exactly is the job of a member of Congress, and tell us what you can do and can't do as a member of Congress.
Well, as a member of Congress, you can't steal, you can't get kicked out, you can't get expelled, because there are ethic rules, tons of them. I have to. As a member of Congress, I can only make $170,000. That's it. If I make anything over that, I have to go through an ethics committee to say, "Oh, Luke, you get ready to go do a concert for $50,000? Well, you done made $170,000. You can't do that right now in Congress. Well, we have to authorize it." So, as a member of Congress, there are things that you cannot do. There are tons of things that are ethics violations, as you can see with. The young lady that I'm running against, she was found guilty on 27 of the 27 counts. She was found guilty of 25 counts, and she had to resign. So there are a lot of things that you can't do as a sitting member of Congress, and there's a lot of things that you can do. The reason why I'm running for Congress is because at the same time, it's where the money is. Senate, but Congress controls the money. Congress controls the money for the entire body of the United States of America. For instance, Congress can shut down the government. I will never vote to shut down the government. Congress controls Medicare and Medicaid, something that Donald Trump is trying to gut. Congress controls all of the money going to all the different departments, as well as back to the community. And what you have is, a lot of times you'll see our congressmen and congresswomen not bringing money back to the community. For instance, hey, look, I look at the situation. Again, I'm a visionary person. I'm like you guys. I look at the situation. Why are you running in Congressional District 20, and what are some good things you can do? I can expand the port. The port has never been expanded. The port hasn't been expanded for 60 years. I could expand the port with $5 billion out of infrastructure. I can give $1 billion for affordable houses. We need affordable houses in Broward County. In the state of Florida, we're shortfall of 140,000 affordable houses. But the difference between my affordable housing project, unlike Debbie and Alonzo Mourning, they want to gentrify the neighborhood, and they want to build it by other people, not from the community. But my plan calls for built by us, for us. So I'm going to go around the country and around the world. I'm going to look at the individuals who live in Congressional District 20, and I'm going to say, where are the contractors at? Where if it's none here, I'm gonna go look for them. It's gonna be like, come back to Jamaica. No, come back to Broward County, and you build your own city with the individuals that are there for us, by us. And when we build those affordable houses, people won't be coming to the door to say, hey, look, I want to come move back into this facility that you displaced me from. You told me to go to Homestead. You told me to go in another area in Broward County to sit here until these buildings get built. But when I came there, you wanted my last born. You wanted me to slice my wrist and all these different things. So now I can't qualify to go back in the building that I want to go back. And that's what I'm fighting against. So, I mean, I have, you know, in my plan, it calls for $250 million for seniors to bail seniors out if we can bail out. If we can sit here and bail out the auto industry and bail out the airline industry, well, we can't bail out seniors who got to pay this high ass insurance that we're paying. And so these are things that's in my plan. Now I'm an entertainment guy. So entertainment, what is the problem with Florida and why is Georgia making so much money? Georgia's making so much money because Georgia got a tax credit. They give entertainment companies, why are they building new facilities in Jersey? Because Jersey created a tax credit. How about me creating a tax credit in my congressional district 20, where I'll give you 50% tax credit, and I'll give another $250 million so we can create good, high-paying entertainment jobs right here in my district. And so that's the difference between me and these folks. I mean, $100 million small business. I mean, we got the girls over there, Natural Trendsetters. Those are probably arguably one of the crown jewels of Broward County. Those young ladies over there are world renowned. You know what I'm saying? I look at them, they're in a great facility right now. Small business owners. Hey, they might want to take their business to a whole nother level or leave it like that. And so many other people in the district. I got $100 million in the budget that I can bring to Broward County to give back to small business owners. And these are the things that when you go there to go to work, or if you go there for insider trading, that one of my opponents, that's what she like doing. You know, if you go in there to grease your pockets, you ain't going there to work for the people. You just really going there to get on Fox and CNN and to grease your own pockets. And that's what I'm not about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes me different, and that's what makes me the best candidate in this race.
That's what's up. You've made a couple notions towards, you know, how important the community is to you, how important it is to keep it looking, you know, the way how it should be. We have a situation where we could be losing a member of the Black Caucus in that district. It's been traditionally what we call a black district, and now that is under threat by Debbie Wasserman Schultz. How does that make you feel?
I think we should. There's two parts of that. I think we should lose every member of the Black Caucus because right now I think they're absolutely horrible. I don't think they're representing the black people the way that they should be representing black people, because not one of them denounced her from doing what she's doing. Not one of them endorsed any individual in this race. Not one of them sent a campaign contribution to any individual in this race. But in 24, they endorsed a young man, which, you know, I don't have nothing to do with that, but there's 24 of them endorsed one young man in that race there. And so I have a real problem right now with the Congressional Black Caucus, because if you are the real Congressional Black Caucus, you should denounce that. Every organization in Broward County has denounced her from running in this race. She's trying to gerrymander. She's doing what the Black Caucus and the Democratic Party said that the Republicans were doing when they gerrymandered the map in Louisiana, Tennessee, and Alabama and took black representation away. They jumped out there and they screamed and hollered about how dare they do that. And Clarence Thomas is voted against the Civil Rights Act and all this, and we are here black representatives, and you sit there and you let this woman run in this race and you don't put down on her. And last time I checked, I mean, in this climate, precedent has been set by Donald Trump and his mega party. You do that, as soon as one of those Republicans get out of line, Donald Trump runs somebody against you in the primary and endorse that person and put money in that person's campaign and get you out. But unfortunately, we don't do that. So the question becomes, who's really running the Congressional Black Caucus? And just like you said, a member, you're getting ready to lose a seat. We are sitting here in South Florida. If we lose to this woman, we will only have one black representative in Congress for the entire state of Florida, which is horrible. And that seat ain't gonna be black long, because what she's doing and what they know she's doing is no different than what Steve Cohen did in Memphis. Steve Cohen went into a crowded race of African Americans and he won by 30% as the congressman in Memphis. Now, mind you, same situation. The seat was held by Gerald Ford Jr. and Gerald Ford Sr. for 30 years, similar to this seat held by African American for over 30 years. Look what happened to Memphis. The crime rate went from 160 murders to 385 murders a year. That's what happens, because that's a part of the gentrification program of allowing crime to run the cost of living, run the prices of homes to the lowest point, have Julio Ramundo knock on your door and say, do you want to sell? I got cash. And before you know it, you're now selling low and they rebuild and they sell high. I mean, keep in mind, Sistrunk is how many miles away from the ocean? Pompano Beach is 3 miles away from the ocean. Kodak Black owns a whole strip mall. They won't even let him develop his strip mall. He wants to have a bowling alley. He wants to have these black businesses and all these things like this here. That is not in the plan. The plan is to have her come in with her buddy Alonzo Mourning and whoever blackface that they get and gentrify the neighborhood and continue what they've been doing and erase us from Broward County. And so this election is so very important. The world is watching. I mean, I'm CNN coming down here. I mean, you name it. I'm on your show. We're talking about this. People of Broward County need to know how serious this is. This is a life and death situation. You know what I'm saying? If you get caught up with the BS of her being experiencing what? She never had a job. She went straight from the University of Florida into politics. Okay, all right, so experience. She was a first-time elected official, never had a job, never ran a small business, never had a curling iron on her stove, never understood what a black woman has to go through, never understood anything about our community, took money from our community, got fired by the first black president. Come on, let's be real. What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? So when people sit up there and take these pictures with a colonizer, I have a real problem with that. But Papa Keith, at the end of the day, you know, God gonna determine what happens. The people of Broward County is gonna determine what happens. I'm gonna be all right. I'm not gonna run in another election for the rest of my life, because my thing is I am trying. You know, I could sit on the side and not do nothing about it, but I know I could do something about it. I normally play the role of the kingmaker. But in this case, the people in this race, I mean, I'm running against a substitute teacher who I like, and I'm gonna take with me if I win, if he accept the job, and a lady who's indicted, and a career politician and part of the gentrification, and then I've got the colonizer. Come on, I mean, really? You know what I'm saying? It's like, really, if we let this happen, then we can only blame ourselves. And that's why I say, man, it's not the super voters need to get out there. It's these young people. Young people need to get out there. People who don't vote. If you mad like me, because I'm mad, I can tell you one thing. If I lose this race, Papa Key, the next day I'll be an independent party. I'm done. I'm done. And before I'm done, I need to try. and try and be the voice of reason. And that is what I'm doing.
That was well said, and I appreciate you being so passionate about it. I have been noticing your passion, and I want to give Luke, excuse me for a minute, Janae. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of like, I don't want to say fix because you say what you say, and I felt you on it, but I just think people took it the wrong way because anytime you mention Donald Trump or agreeing with Donald Trump, it just shoots, it just shoots flames. So I saw, you were upset. I mean, it was raining. You had your UM cap on. I felt it, right? But once you just shoot Donald Trump out your mouth, people are gonna just hone in on that. You know what I mean? And the point that you were trying to make is that you were so appalled to find out that yes, stealing of elections, which I also know about, and I've experienced as well in Little Miramar. Stealing of elections is a real thing. So I'm not asking you to rephrase it, Luke. I'm just saying, could you just expound on that? Because I felt you, but a lot of people gonna run with that in the wrong direction.
Yeah, or give context,
Yeah,
give
well,
more context.
what normally happens is people always have a problem with the messenger before they even listen to the message. If you really listen to the message like you guys have, you will understand what I said and what I wrote, because I'm very careful as to how I choose my words. And my words were real simple. I cannot believe I'm sitting here agreeing with Donald Trump, a person who I hate. So I set it up that a person who I hate, a person who I do not agree with 99.1% of the time, but what he's saying is right. They do steal elections. I'm experiencing it in my race. There's a situation called ballot harvesting that I never knew existed, almost like harvesting fruit. And how does it work? Because one other candidate brought it to an attention to one of my friends that this is what they're doing, and it's on Ring camera. See, nowadays you got Ring camera. They're on Ring camera. Guy knocks on the door from one of the lady candidates and knock on the door and say, "Hey, look, I'm over here to help you take your ballot because I know you don't want to, go and take this ballot." 85-year-old lady, and they're doing those things. They're going to senior citizen homes, Papa Keith, and not just now. They're there now. You know what I'm saying? They're there now, building a relationship with seniors so that they can then take their ballot, and feel so comfortable with them because they took them to the shuffleboard court, they took them to the movies, they took them to the beach, they took them to the bowling alley, and then they feel so confident in them people that been around them so long that they grab their ballot, and then they say, "Take this to the mailbox for me because I don't want to go there. The high cost of gas, I got all this cost of living going up. I can't afford it right now. You take it over here because I trust you." And those people are filling out those ballots, and then when they harvest the ballot and go to those people doors, they're going to the doors, and this is easy. It may seem crazy to the average person, but it's really easy because we got an app. We have data of who voted, who didn't vote. We have an app that tells us who has a mail-in ballot and who don't. We got their telephone number, we got their address, we got everything that we need to have. And so those people are sitting there preying on 85 and 95-year-old people, going to their door, people who have disability, to cheat and steal to win an election. But for them, again, it's not about the people. It's win by all means necessary because they're trying to grease their pockets. And so I brought that out, and the people took it the wrong way because I agreed with Donald Trump, then so be it. I think people need to really, really, look at where we're at as a people. We got to call it for what it is. I call it like I see it. There 99.1% of the time, I'm going to disagree with Donald Trump. But then there may be 1% of the time where if he say mail-in ballots, we need to really, people are stealing elections off mail-in ballots, and I'm witnessing it in my race, I'm gonna bring it out there because I think it needs to be talked to, whether people like it or not. And I can come on this platform and say, Grandma, granddaddy, don't give nobody your ballot. And if you have a family member in a senior home or living at home and there's seniors or young people around, tell them don't give their ballot to nobody. Take it to the box and put it in, because you have these people doing that and they get paid a lot of money to do it.
So
Thanks for
wait,
addressing that.
because I've heard of this for the last couple of election cycles. It was new to me, but I think I've learned of it for the first time in I think the 2024 22 election. So this is a real thing. But what
Yeah.
I've been trying to understand with it is like, are they taking their ballots and like replacing them with ones that have their vote, or like, because if you're filling out your ballot, you seal it. Like, are they, like, I'm trying to figure out like how that process is working so people can understand what's at stake. Because one way I heard that this is happening is like, to your point, they'll go into a senior center. If people have mail-in ballots, they'll help them fill it out, and then they're like, hey, we'll take it. So you're saying too, another way that they're doing is like picking it up as well. But I'm almost like, if it's already filled out, how is that bit then being like stolen? Because if I voted for somebody else and not you, and you pick up my ballot, are you changing it? Are you replacing information? And this is more so too, like, I think we should have this conversation open, like, and I think people should understand. So that's why I'm more so asking too for clarity, if you could help us out, Luke.
So I have a ballot right here. This is my ballot,
Mm-hmm.
right? My ballot is halfway open already. I can take this off right here. My signature does not cover that part of the ballot. I can take this ballot, I can take this and open this up, just like we could open up any mail that I put the wrong check in here. Let me open it up and let me seal it back. So these people are going in these ballots, opening these ballots up. If it's ink, then they'll throw it in the garbage. No vote for Luke. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll get upset. Hey, look, I voted, but I looked on the computer and didn't see my vote get counted. Or if it's wrote in pencil, I can erase it, and then what I can do? Change it,
Vote for who I want.
seal it
Oh,
back.
wow.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
see what I'm saying? This can be so simple. All this right here, this is what I got in the mail. This is my ballot. And I'm a mail-in ballot guy. I could easily take this off right now. They ain't doing no super glue going on here. It can easily be solved. That part can be solved by putting it almost in a UPS envelope and doing this number here. And now when you take that off, you're going to show that you took that off. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of ways that they can secure these things. And it's not just Democrats doing it, it's Republicans doing it too, because, even though Donald Trump said something about it, but he didn't describe it the way that I'm describing it, because all of them do it. The ones who got the most money, they ballot harvest. And just follow the money, because the ballot harvester costs a lot of money to pay. Put it that way. And even if I dump tons of money in my campaign, I'm not going to try to win an election illegally.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that to us. And I have a follow-up question, PK, if you don't mind.
Right
For
there.
sure.
Since we mentioned Donald Trump, I would like to know, if elected, would you request a meeting with Donald Trump? And if so, why?
I've always said that I'm not going to Washington to fight. I'm going to Washington to get things done. I got enough time on CNN, standing on stages and being a celebrity. I got a legacy to protect at the end of the day, before this election, before politics. And I think that, the standards that I set for myself and the things that I've done, and for my family and my family name. I got a 17-year-old son that has to live on past who I am, and I'm not going to Washington or be in politics to screw that up and become somebody that I'm not. I'm going there to fight for the people of Congressional District 20. That's the bottom line. If I got and having a meeting with Donald Trump, yes. I know Marco Rubio real well. Some people get a little queasy when I say I know him, but anything that Marco Rubio, anytime that I loaded up a bus and took kids for the last 18 years around the country in the summertime to get college scholarships, took them on college tours. Marco Rubio always donated. And me and him have a difference in politics when it comes to politics, but I can have a conversation with him. We're facing TPS right now. There's a lot of people in this congressional district 20 that are staying home, scared to go to work, scared to go to the polls. And it's because of these career politicians that are running in this race. They have a total combined years of 62 years of being in office. And you telling me you ain't created a pathway for these folks to get citizenship? What were you doing to allow them to work here and live here and be here for 30 years, born here, and now all of a sudden they're getting ready to, they're scared as hell to go out the door to be able to go to work because in fear of ICE, because ICE is coming? Nobody should be living like that because, I mean, let's face it. So if I got to go have a conversation, I'm the only person can have a conversation with Marco Rubio about that. He's not going to talk to no Debbie. He's not going to talk to no Sheila. She ain't going to get seated. He's not going to talk to the substitute teacher. He's not going to talk to no Dale. He's not talking to none of these people. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, if I don't win, he's really going to be livid because he understands the passion that I have for my community. You know, and so we could go have a real conversation and come to a real negotiation as to how we deal with TPS, how we deal with this money that I need to build a port, how we need to deal with this affordable housing money, these billions of dollars that I need to bring back to my district, which is already in the budget that I can go and get. But then at the end of the day, I can go and have these conversations. I mean, hey, the man invited me to his house when he was a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? I know him. So I can, of any one of these individuals, you know, you got to know how narcissists work. You know what I'm saying? You got to, you got to know how to operate with those situations. And so at the end of the day, I'll go there and have these conversations with them for the betterment of my people. Because at the end of the day, this is not my seat. This is the seat of the people. They expect me to go get things done. You know, whether it's working across the aisle, whether it's working across with the president, yeah, we ain't gonna agree on everything. But I'll go there day one and have that conversation with him. And I know that any and everybody else in this race cannot have that conversation with him and Marco Rubio. People are gonna get deported. I went to John Knox and did a debate, right? Only debate Debbie showed up to, you know, because it was all white people. She don't debate in the black community. She showed up there, and I said on stage, I said, here in John Knox, 13 members of your family just got deported this week. Do y'all know that? And they started looking around like, there ain't but 99% white people in here. Like, no, the people who cook your food, who clean the yard, the people who change the linen and the toilets and repair the grounds and keep this place immaculate, those are members of your family, whether you like it or not. They got deported. 13 Haitians in that facility got deported. And it was off the backs of these individuals here that you want to continue sending to Washington. I mean, the thing is, let's face it, what they say the sign of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and you're getting the same results. Something like that. Some saying like that. And I look at it again, guys. I'm the businessman who want change, who want to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, I got a job to go to. If for some reason the good people of Broward County don't elect me, but I can tell you one thing: they'll be in a better place, and they'll be in a better situation if I'm elected to represent them in Congress.
That's what's up. If elected, what are the top 3 issues you'd focus on in your first term?
One. I mean, listen, they're trying to cut Medicare, Medicaid. You got to fight for that. SNAP benefits, you got to fight back. I'm so, I'm so upset that we continuously talk about SNAP benefits, and I always blame it on the career politicians, because we got to talk about SNAP benefits in this day of age. Before it was food stamps, before it was the EBT card. Now they dressed it up with a new name, SNAP. Like they changed the dancing to twerking. They put a new name on these things for us as a people, and so yes, I got to go fight for those. Yes, I got to go fight for affordable housing. Those are some of the main things. Seniors, my plan calls for taking the cap off of Social Security. Yes, they want to change, they want to take money out. People, you have a situation where you have people who are retired, then you have people who are getting Social Security. You're cutting down the Social Security money, but then the high cost of living is going up because you got a senseless war going on where the oil prices is up, all prices running the grocery prices up, and the gas prices are up, and everything is up around you. Now you live in the state of Florida where your insurance prices is out the roof, and then you have taxes out the roof. So now the cost of living is out the roof here, but my plan calls for a bailout. If we could bail out the auto industry and bail out the airline industry, we could bail out good old American people. And my plan is $250 million for seniors who own homes, who are facing this high cost of insurance, and the government paying half of that insurance. And so these are things that they don't think about because they don't think about the people. We got kids right now. This phone right here is putting them in a state of depression. They're looking at Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, they're looking at Papa Keith, and all y'all with all these beautiful things and these beautiful cars and living a life. At the end of the day, they're looking at it in a bad educational situation and saying, how do I get to the bag? And most of these kids don't have a pathway. And so my plan calls for $150 million into tech and apprentice so that they can have a pathway to get a good job. Because everybody ain't going to college. Everybody don't aspire to go to college, but we need people to learn how to fix these electric cars. We need people to understand tech. We need people to understand script, and we can create those jobs. So my plan is really all about bringing jobs and increasing the average income in my district. I'm really on that Black Wall Street, and I can really do it by partnering up with blockchain. By taking money out the infrastructure bill and rebuilding the port by us. You're talking about $5 billion. You're talking about good, high-paying jobs. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about putting money back into small business. You're talking about putting money back into our seniors. And that's what my plan calls for, something totally different. That's bringing, even though we're going to deal with these high costs of living, but we got to be able to match it with the amount of money that we're making. If you continuously stay here and you continuously stay here getting this money and this is going up, but your check is not going up, at some point you're not going to be able to afford to continuously live here. In South Florida, the cost of living in Miami is what? $127,000. The average income is what? 40, if that. That don't make sense. So when Elon Musk and Bezos and all these people live in, yeah, that's cute to them. But then is it cute for you? And then at the end of the day, we don't have Fortune 500 companies here. Our Fortune 500 company is that Sun. And when you look at Broward County Congressional District 20, they're already trying to connect Systrunk to what? They're trying to connect it. They've been trying to connect Systrunk to Los Olas in Pompano Beach. You're 3 miles away from the ocean. Ely High School is 3 miles away from the ocean. Let's make it make sense. So when people make a decision, when they get ready to make a decision, you're going to either make a decision for a career politician who's ready to take whatever from anybody and all that and continue gentrifying it because it started with him. Or you going to, hell, we'll be back at this race again after February because, the federal government, they have a 99% conviction rate. And then you have the young guy, I mean, what are we talking about? So at the end of the day, people of Broward County has a real serious, history shows that it was done before in Memphis. History shows that this lady is not going to do what she needs to do. History shows that the other politicians are a part of the problem and they're not a part of the solution. And so it makes all the sense in the world is to go in a different direction of a person who has the track record, like me, of building and making things better.
Thank you. I see a question from the chat that I think is really good. Dr. Angela Mumford, 4022. She said, your proposals may total hundreds of millions of dollars. Can you explain how you would fund these initiatives without increasing the federal deficit?
What a federal deficit, see, that's the thing. The question becomes, the federal deficit is where it's at now, trillions of dollars. That's where it's at right now. Do you worry about the federal deficit or do you worry about Congressional District 20? They're going to do what they're going to do. We are now fighting wars. We've spent over $165 billion in Ukraine. We're spending billions of dollars in Israel. They're now asking for more billions of dollars to fight a war in Iran. That's money coming through Congress. So this little money, say we take half the amount of spending in these unsenseless wars that are killing Americans and spend that money right here in the United States of America, then the deficit is not affected. Everything that I'm proposing, just cut back on this war in Iran. Us not vote to give it to them. Thank God these congressmen pushed back and not voted, and that's the reason why we got to take the House, because if we don't take the House, then what's going to continuously happen is we'll be taking money and putting money into these senseless wars and not directly back in our community. When I walk around my district and I see homeless people in America, we're supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but yet still we're spending billions and trillions of dollars on wars around the country to protect other people? Really? That don't make no sense to me. I go to the park and go out there to the Hurricane Park and talk to little girls in the stands and their parents, and the mom say, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. And then I ask them, so what do you like doing? And one little girl say, I want to be an interior decorator. And another little girl say, I want to own my own beauty salon. So you do hair now? Yeah, I do the hair at the house, and people come in. These are entrepreneurs. These are little kids that want to be entrepreneurs. These are families that just need an opportunity. And so when you see this going on every day, to be honest with you, yes, the federal deficit is going to be the number. That's going to be a number. But let's just take some of this money away from these wars, and let's put this money back into the community. So, I don't want to say I don't care about the federal deficit. I care more about people in Congressional District 20 and bringing that money right here, because they can find money for everybody else and anybody else, and it doesn't increase. But to be honest with you, that money right now is allocated in the current budget. Your congresswoman could have brought the same money that I'm proposing bringing to our district right now. So when I get in a race like this and I talk about the amount of money that I'm going to bring to the district, I do my homework. No different than I did my homework to identify $26 million should be allocated for green space at a park in Overtown. Nobody was going to tell us about that. Our 16 millions were allocated for a park in Liberty City. I did my homework to identify the amount of funds that we do have in the current budget that will not increase the deficit, that should be brought back here to Congressional District 20. So hopefully I answered that question. It's about representation. It's not about the pretenders. And so when you do your homework, do it. And I always challenge people, don't take my word. Go look up what Steve Cohen did in Memphis and how Memphis became what it was when he ran against a crowded field of African Americans and won. Don't just look at the history and look at the murder rate and see what happened to that community. Don't take my word. Do your own little homework and say how much money is allocated for my district, Congressional District 20 in Broward County, in this current budget that has been passed? And then you'll see it. But it's a ton of money allocated, but then you got to know what to do with the money. You know, if I give, these guys $1 million and say, okay, now make an investment, they got to then make a decision. Hey, look, they got to sit at the table and say, well, I think we need to invest in this, and I think we need to do this, and we can make money off of this, and we can do this here, or whatever the situation is. So that's where I stand at with it. You know, my whole thing is, I know I took you around the world and started talking bad about the deficit, but then telling you about these wars, but the money is already allocated. You just got to do the work and bring it back home. Joe Biden passed the infrastructure bill how long ago? The infrastructure bill, how long ago did he pass that bill? Do you know how much money is in that infrastructure bill? All that money, all your small business money is in that infrastructure bill. They even have bonds in that infrastructure bill, because I called Kamala Harris myself and say, black people can't get bonded. We can win the bid, but we can't get bonded. So that's how we're losing our contracts to the developers who don't look like us. And then when they get the contract from us, they pay us a little money, and then we move to Atlanta. And at the end of the day, they have their people at the front desk. I say, so you got to put a system where you can bond African-American developers and any other developer, because the bonding system is what's killing us. And so those things are in that infrastructure bill that people don't want to do no work because they too busy wanting to walk around looking cute and going on CNN and talking all jazzy about Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and all that. No, do the work. Have a plan. And that's my plan, of bringing this money back to Congressional District 20, and I ain't going to be hurting nobody.
We are here with Luther Uncle Luke Campbell, running for Congressional District seat number 20, right here on That Part Podcast 305. Papa Keith, Janae Tate. This has been such an amazing conversation, Luke. I mean, we just want to check in and see how you comfortable, maybe for a couple more questions, because I know we kind of went over on time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Janae.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question, and thank you so much for being generous with your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about transportation, because it continues to be one of South Florida's biggest challenges. What role should Congress play in improving rapid mass transit throughout Miami-Dade and Broward counties?
Well, that's a partnership with state and the federal government, because state and local have to play a role in that, and that's part of my plan. My plan is to really do something that hasn't been done before, which is sit down with all the elected officials in my entire district and have a conversation with them about things that they need, because I did my due diligence and had conversations with with people in the community and say, what do you need? What you need? What you need? What you think? And that's how I came up with my platform, and I put thought to it and say, okay, I gotta, these are the $15 job, and this living wage, that's all BS. We need to make some real money. And so when you look at transportation, yes, they've been talking about building this high-speed railway. They built Brightline and all these things, and you have a transportation issue when it comes to the highways. They're building highways. We're having more cars on the highways. So large part of transportation, when you go into the areas of Coconut Creek, some of those folks, they want to expand the highway. Some people want to expand that. Some people in government want to expand the highway, but a lot of communities don't want to expand the highway. Like in Wilton, in the community in Coconut Creek, they don't want the highway expanded. They don't want a wall in their backyard. So that's a very touchy issue when you say, okay, we have we got this highway and we're stuck in traffic all day and we need to do some different things. But then you have homeowners who live adjacent to the highway that don't want a wall in their backyard or don't want the highway expanded to put a wall in their backyard and then create more noise. So it's a very touchy issue, which needs to be it needs to be serious conversations with state and local officials because, I'm all about what the community want. I hate sitting in traffic myself. I'm like everybody else, and I think there needs to be better transportation to getting us where we need to go at with it. If the community say that they want to expand the highway, then okay, fine. All right, super lanes, being able to make it make more sense. If it's more, I think they did a horrible job, and when they did the monorail or the train up top, they should have stretched that thing all around the entire community and take it to Broward County and bring it back. I think they can expand that. Run it straight down the highway so people, we have to do a better job in the transportation department. And we have some things because we're on flat land. We're on flat land. We don't have all these hills and all these things that we got to deal with. We just need to take a common sense approach about it to be able to put people in a better situation where they can get from point A to point B.
That's what's up. You covered TPS in the conversations that we've had already. You've also covered what you wanted to do for a lot of the small businesses. So one thing we're wondering about, and you kind of connected to it as well, you're there for the people. You keep pushing that narrative, which is amazing. How do you plan on staying accountable to everyday South Florida residents when you're actually in Washington? Like, what does accountability look like in practice for you, like town halls, office hours, or something else?
Accountability for me is number one, understanding that this is the people's seat. It's not about you. A lot of people go into politics and they become kings and dictators and they think they're untouchable. My job, and I love talking to people. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I like talking to people and finding out what's on their mind. And everywhere we go in this race, when we're doing forums all across this district, the first thing people ask is that same question that you asked. Hey, are you gonna come back and talk to us? So that tells me, using my common sense, that every one of these elected officials, they got in the office and they never seen them until the election. Me running for this office knows that I am here to work for the people, and they can rest assured that they're gonna get tired of me, because the same places that I went to go have conversations with people about the issues that concern them is the same places I'm gonna go. A lot of times people are scared to go talk to people because, okay, you may have said I was gonna bring $100 million, but then I came up short and brought a $90 million because some joker in Washington saw my platform and they try to block a little bit of money. But I'm man enough to go to the people and say, here's what happened and how it happened, because, hold me accountable. And I'm a firm believer, if you don't do the job, I get fired. We fire people every day on a football team and a basketball team for not achieving. And for some reason, we don't fire our elected officials. And if I don't do the job, fire me, hire somebody else, and let them do the job. And so I would never run from nobody. I'm like Deion Sanders. I'm not hard to find. And I won't be hard to find. I'll look at my schedule. The first thing I'm going to do, Papa Keith, is look at the schedule, because when you look at the congressional schedule, it's public. I need to be in Washington X amount of days. This is the perfect time for me to run. My son will be in college, and that's the only reason why I didn't run last time. He'll be in college, he'll be gone, and Daddy will either be on some beach in Jamaica or the Bahamas, or Daddy be working for the people of Congressional District 20. That's one of the two things gonna happen here. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I look at my schedule, and my schedule tells me how often the public can see it, how often I'm coming back to my district. And so my schedule will be made with the people of my congressional district. It'll be, okay, here we go. When I come back home, because I work for you, My job is to go this meeting, this meeting, this meeting. And it's very easy that we can set these meetings up in these conversations. A lot of people don't like to go to these meetings and conversations because they send other political opponents in to talk trash and make you look bad and all that. But the people can identify. I ain't scared of nobody. I mean, smoke is not something I run from. You know, it's really about the people. And so that's how I would govern. My office will be a working office. There won't be a bunch of people sitting there collecting a check. The platform will be, if I got small business, if I have $100 million in small business loans, they're going to get up off their ass and they're going to go to those small businesses and they're going to go out there and look for inspiring people, because I don't think you're a real politician unless you make millionaires in your community. And you know me better than anybody, Papa Keith. How many millionaires that I made, whether it's through sports, whether it's through entertainment, who came straight off the street, who ain't had nothing, who's living a life of crime, some who came and moved here, and we put them in a better situation. Some who I got out of jail when in high school and ended up in big time universities and ended up playing in Super Bowls. So, you know, I'm no stranger to that. And that's the type of person I am. So at the end of the day, you know, we build communities, we make millionaires, we create successful people. You can't run from that, you know. And so when you're doing that and you have a track record of doing that, why not hire me to do that job in this community? You gonna hire somebody else who has never did that before? Really?
I would love to follow up on that. And you definitely have a long resume of like the work that you've done in the community. What would you say to people who are like, well, we know what he's done in Miami, but can you explain to them like your connection and the work that you've done in Congressional District 20?
So that's you know, you know, I thought I was gonna hear that a lot more. You know, I really did. When Frederica Wilson got out of the race, and I did my work in Congressional District 20, and I talked to the people, understood the concerns, because remind you, I was getting ready to run in the last cycle. So 4 years of going actually in the district. You know, Miramar was a part of the district at one point, and then they gerrymandered, you know, all that. So actually going into the district, right? I lived here in Broward County for 15 years. Broward County, Miramar, for almost 15 years. So that's one thing. When you live, whether you live in Miramar, Tamarack, or Sunrise, there are some times that you don't venture to Pompano. You know, I got kids on my team that work for me as a summer job. And I said, let's go to Pompano and knock on doors. They're like, Pompano, coach. Then I got kids in Pompano and say, let's go in Fort Lauderdale. We don't go over there. So there are people who live in certain places. Even me, when I lived in Miami, I never went to Miami Lakes. I know jack nothing that went on over there because I was just stuck in Liberty City. You know, and so when people say, oh yeah, you're from Miami and all that, I always say, well, look at it like this. The Miami Heat stole LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal and brought them championships. You know, look at it like that. Look at it like the things that I've done in Miami. Now I'm going to do those things and more in Broward County, in my district, in the county that I pay taxes in, the county that I need to represent in. When I lived in Miami, I did the things that I need to do for my city and the neighborhood I grew up in. I did that and some. That's why they got streets named after me and stadiums named after me. I did that. I live in Broward County. My job is to now do the things that I need to do in Broward County. And that is my job, you know, and trust me, the things that I've done in Miami, and they told me when I left Miami Northwestern coaching and went to Miami Gardens, I call it Carol City. Man, we don't go to Miami Gardens, coach. What you doing, coach? You know, that's them over there. I don't get out. No, if I need to go to Homestead, God sends me to these places, and I'm controlled by Him. He sends me over here, hey, look here, Frederica Wilson jumped out of the race 24. Do you know how many people called me up? Oh, I know you get ready to run in 24. I know you getting ready to run in 24 because your mama from town, you helped build Gibson Park over there. All them boys, Ben Hanks and all the boys and all the older people over there grew up with your mama. I know you could win town. I know you could win Liberty City. That's where you're from. I know you could win Miami. You're coaching in Little Haiti. So the Haitian community loves you. You've been coaching there for 7 years. They love you. They gonna split the vote in Miami Gardens. You live in Miramar, you're gonna get them. I had to call Papa Keith and a couple of other people. You know okay, they gonna split Miami Gardens and may split North Miami. Bro, you can easily win that race. That ain't me, Papa Keith, ladies. That ain't me. I'm not that type of person where I'm gonna go and have conversation with these folks for 4 years. And I'm gonna live in this county, and I ain't never did nothing for the people in this county. And I want to do the things that I've done in my hometown, in this county, and more. I'm not that person to turn my back on these people. Those people literally cried on my phone when DeSantis took the people of Belgrade and Pahokee and Riviera Beach out of my district. The people of Riviera Beach begged me, the mayor and everybody, to please run in their congressional district and run in that race up there against Lois Franco, because they believe in the passion that I have, and they looked at my track record and say the things that I've done. If I do half the things that I did in my hometown, and if I do these things, and then people in Riviera Beach, with this congresswoman, these two congresswomen, those people, the water, they have a water issue. Their water is worse than, they're drinking, they got toilet water. They got a ball of water because the water plant needs to be redone. They're worse than what's happening in Michigan. You got a water issue get ready to happen in Tamarack. Nobody talks about it. The mayor and the council, they need at least $50 million. Nobody talks about it. Every city has different issues within it. I have an overall plan, but when you really go and have a conversation with people, you understand the most important things in those districts. You have Tamarack, you got most of the seniors in Tamarack. They're trying to make a decision as to whether to pay prescription drugs or pay for food. Gas is out of control. I mean, people have real issues in different parts of the district in these different cities. Yes, it's great, but again, like I say, man, I hurt for the people in Belgrade and Pahokee, because we had plans to do things that should have been done a long time ago. We have plans to do some things in Riviera Beach, but it is what it is. These are just the deck that's dealt. But I would not have turned my back on the people of Broward County. I could have easily did it. All I had to do was just change that one thing from 20 to 24, but I ain't that type of person. And my life could have been easy, but that's if I just want to run for Congress, if I want to be a congressman, if that's my lifelong dream. My lifelong dream is not to be a politician. My lifelong dream is to help people. I have to go and take it for me. For me, I got to go take a chance to be able to help these people. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that what they're trying to do. They're trying to gentrify neighborhoods. I know, you can see it. You can see how they're doing these kids losing their lives at 21, really? You know, we still got the same cycle going on. They don't have no respect for us. And I know I could make changes, and I can make people's lives a better life, like all the other things that I touch and all the other things and kids that I've been a part of. And so, you know, I just asked the good folks of Congressional District 20, give me that job. And trust me, your life will be a lot better than what it is right now. Even though people are living good. People living good in my district right now. They're living fine, but then a lot of people have concerns about what direction we're going in. And you got to have the right person in office to take you into the right direction.
Wow. Janae, I don't know about you, but I think we got a lot from
Yeah, Janae, you doing all that talking when I be driving, coming from canvassing. I be looking at Janae's show, and she gets me home on the highway. Oh, come on, Luke, come on live right now. And Tangela says, go on live. No, I am driving. This is just gonna get me because I'm tired. My brains is hurting. I done went and knocked on all these doors. My feet hurting, and Janae is on there talking like, come on, yeah. And it just, hey, but y'all do a good job, man. Y'all do a good job. And like I said before, I really appreciate the fact, I know we have a relationship, Papa Keith, and that goes a long way back. It goes way back to our 99 Jams days when I was doing the free radio station, and say, hey man,
the Uncle Luke
we
show.
don't do this for the culture. We don't do this here and do that. And so no man, this is y'all do a good job. Y'all do a good job of talking about the issues that concern us, and we got so many issues. I mean, we need to figure it out as a people first and stop worrying about everybody else. We need to take control. I'm looking at my things, man. This thing says we probably got, I don't know, maybe 300,000 voters in my congressional district, and they only expect, and they tell me, Papa Key, if you get 30,000 voters, you win.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's
Crazy.
telling me, dude, we have a bunch of people with a voter's registration card that's complaining that, okay, you got a guy from the culture. I'm not one of these suits. I'm here to really do the work. I'm the guy, I'm the coach on the park. I'm the guy, I'm the coach, I'm the music guy, I'm this guy here, I'm the builder. You see my work. And if you sit home in this election, then whatever happens to you and whatever happened to this party and the things that have happened to your quality of life, that's on you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you made the choice. I'm gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jamaican. I got 1,000 different jobs. You know what I'm saying? Companies. But look, man. It's crazy, and it's really, really, to be honest with you, it's really hypocritical, right? From the political standpoint and to the people standpoint. Right? I look at this race, right, and I say everybody jumped on Chile. They jumped on Chile because she made a campaign contribution to Donald Trump. They canceled TLC tour, right? So here's the guy who fought for free speech. Here's the guy who fought all the way to the Supreme Court. Here's the guy who went to jail for doing what you're doing, dancing on stages with the girls, saying the things on the records that you say, but you ain't give a dime to the campaign because you need to go and fight more to create more laws to help our people. I had a comedian lady tell me I don't get in politics, but yet still her whole audience is black. Make that make sense? So here I am going to fight to make sure that these folks be able to afford to buy a ticket at your show. And I don't get into politics. Really? These are the things that we have to do, come together as a people and understand. If Chile understood it, which I totally jumped on her, went viral for that. I jumped on her. What are you doing? But she had the understanding that I need to give money to my candidate, the billionaire. Elon Musk understood to give money to his candidate, the billionaire, and every other billionaire, but we don't get it. We don't get it, Papa Key, and we got a long way to go. Them people looked at my campaign report. We had a chance to change the world. They looked at my fundraiser with Rick Ross, my fundraiser with Ludacris, my fundraiser with DJ Khaled. Three of the most powerful people in the hip hop business. And we didn't raise that much money. Everybody wanted a photo op. That's how sad it is. So they looked at it and said, oh, they ain't woke yet. Because if we'd have raised tons of money like they do when they go in the room with their millionaire friends, if we'd have raised tons of money, and this is no discredit to these guys because I'm teaching these guys, they learn more about politics and the importance of doing these things. They know they call friends up and everybody and these things, but it's a first step is building. But Papa Keith should run, if Papa Keith runs for office in Miramar, Papa Keith should have more, 5 times as much money as anybody else in their campaign because of the culture and what he represents and who he is. And the same thing for Luke, same thing for Janae, same thing for everybody. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we got to fix. If we don't fix that, then we'll be sitting there talking about alligator Alcatraz, people putting money in from the prison system and all that because we ain't putting money in our candidates' campaign. And you already know when you put money into something, you expecting something. You buy that girl that Birkin bag, you expecting Birkin bag results. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, I'd have bought you a Birkin bag and took you to Prime 112 and then what? What did you
Right.
do?
Don't know about that life.
You expected something. Hey, my daddy always told me nothing from nothing leave nothing.
That part.
For
Look,
real.
Uncle Luke, I have one last question before we let you go. I would like to talk about the music, right? And so, of course, you are a Miami legend, you're icon, hip hop pioneer, took it all the way to the Supreme Court to fight for freedom of speech, right? But what do you say to people, or have you experienced this on the campaign trail? People talking about your lyrics or the content of your like music videos or your shows versus like, would you be a good representation in Congress? I would love to know your thoughts on that, or if you come up against that rebuttal from people on the campaign trail.
You know, it hasn't came up. To be honest with you, it hasn't came up. If I think if I was running for president, I would have to go into places and hear these stories. At the end of the day, those people came up with me. You know what I hear on the campaign trail? Because I was with you at Strawberries in the church. Yeah, you came over here to the National Guard Armory, and you used to DJ at Hollywood's Catering. I watch you grow up. And see, that's the thing. I watch you grow. I'm 65 years old. I just look like this.
Oh, really? Okay, black don't crack.
They, they, they literally grew up with me into the good times and the bad times. The people, and so when you have a body of people, right, saw you DJing with 2 speakers, with ghetto style DJs, going to the parks, doing it for free, doing it at the car wash, DJing at the parties, at the house parties, the baby showers, and all these different things. When you had no money, you just was unplugging your thing, and then you go to Carol City and you start DJing there. You DJing at Alapata Junior High. You DJing over at Playdate. You DJing here. They saw me grow up. So these same people who you would expect to be like, oh, Luke, no. It's total opposite. They sit there and tell me my stories. They're like, yo, I used to be at Strawberries. I went to the Pac Jam. I went to the Pac Jam on 54. I went to Luke's Miami Beach on Miami Beach. You DJ'd at my mama baby shower. Whatever it is. My mama said you DJ at my baby shower. It's crazy. So I don't really get that. Nobody really talks about the music because again, you're talking about Broward County and the courthouse where it was the center of the controversy because Navarro he went and went to Freedman's store, shots out to Freedman. He's a deacon at the church right now. I don't know why Home Depot let him go. The man been there for only 30 years, so we got to talk to Home Depot about that. That would be one of my jobs. As soon as I become a congressman, I'm going to go roll up in the Home Depot and say how you got rid of a man who's an iconic figure in Broward County because he was the one that sold the record. And Navarro locked him up after Navarro told him not to sell the record to get rid of it. And the man who he is went and sold the record anyway and stood on principle and went to jail. And then we both beat the cases ourselves. But at the same, I say that to say this, they were right there with me. When I fought Navarro, it was like, fight that MF. You know what I'm saying? And so when I went and did Phil Donahue, you see the other black guy there, that's Charles Friedman. He's from Broward County. He owned the store in Broward County. So we were together in that whole controversy. So the people of district, and that's why I say I owe this community. One, because I live here 15 years. Two, because they've done so much for me in my career that it's the least that I have to do is to bring whatever I have to this district right here, and bring the things that I know I can bring here, because this damn sure ain't about a job. I mean, this little money that they get ready to pay me, it ain't about that. It's about really, really helping people, you know, in a thriving community, what it is. I mean, this community is beautiful. I mean, it's more, man, I done went to all kind of Jamaican restaurants. You got Jamaican restaurants in Tamarack, you know, because some people get mixed up with the Lotta and all them, but then you got them all. You got the Jamaican restaurants, you got the festivals. I got another festival every week in a different cities. Like they got a planning together. It's so much entertainment, so much fun, so much black excellence in this district, and I just want to be a part of helping it continuously grow and keep it black.
That's what's up, man. It's a testament to your growth, and I'm happy that people are seeing it that way. We all grow. The very same people you just mentioned that are talking about back in the days of strawberries. Yeah, we all have a past, and then now everybody going to church. You know, their lives have changed. We all have grown up. You know what I mean? So to really hold you to that, some things that you lyrics you created 20, 30 years ago is like, come on now.
Right. Nobody gonna talk about Papa Keith and Freaky Red.
Right.
Or what is a freaky red? And here's the to your point, Uncle Luke. My mom is in the comments talk about, yeah, strawberries was a vibe back then. That's my introduction to you, is my aunties and my mom talking about your parties. So I also too think there's a culture in South Florida where
And your mom
view
came out all right. She listened to all the nasty records that she could ever make. She was shaking it up the storm, and she created you. And she came out all right,
Yes,
and you came out all
but
right.
it's the culture though. So I don't think we look at certain things as like lewd, as lascivious as certain other communities. Like this is a part of our culture. Like so I don't but we also too see the man that you are on the football field, and the businessman that you are, and the case that you won. So I think too we're able to look at the full spectrum of it all, because to your point, I just think that's just Miami. Like at one point we was booty shaking in the clubs, and now we at church, or we giving back to the kids. It's like we're full spectrum people. So I'm actually glad to hear that you haven't gotten criticism on it, but it actually makes sense because of like who we are here in South Florida. Like it just is like, okay, it's no big deal.
Bigger to that, Janae. Like even me, there's a lot of us. Khaled, as simple as you see it, Khaled, myself, Pitbull, Trick Daddy, JT. We wouldn't be who we are without Luke, and not just the sense of him with the helping hand. On top of the helping hand, he gave us something to aspire to. That's the first millionaire I knew in South Florida, was Luke. You see what I'm saying? So it allowed me to understand, like, yo, it's possible, and he looks like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many levels to that, and Luke, thank you for your support, throughout the years, even in my campaign and everything. It's an opportunity for me to just be able to say that in front of this audience as well, man. You've inspired a lot of people, brother. You really, really have.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, we're here to lend this platform, and I can't tell people who to vote for, and stuff like that, man. But I'm so happy that we gave and was able to connect with you and have this opportunity so people could see what you're really about, what you're trying to do. And I just hope people make an informed decision now that they heard what you had to say.
Thank you. I really
Definitely.
appreciate it. And remember, everybody, early voting starts the 8th It's not like early voting if you're in Dade County. Early voting has started today, so early voting for us in Broward County starts at 8. And make sure you get out there and vote, because this, like I say, this is the most important election in the history, in my opinion, of Broward County. I mean, we're talking about a strong possibility of losing an African American seat that has been an African American seat to a guy that I call my friend, Alcee Hasten, and we cannot, under no circumstances, let somebody get into this seat and allow them to, take it and do what they want to do with it. So I urge people to go out there and vote for me. I'm gonna do the work, hold me accountable at the end of the day, and I will be back to the community to make sure, I hear your level of concerns, and that's my job. Simple as that. I'm only going to do it for 4 to 6 years. I even said I'm gonna take the young guy with me. I offered him a job. Look, when I win this thing, you come with me, because we need to build and inspire the next person. You know what I'm saying? And I look at this young guy, 27-year-old. He's aware of some of the issues, but right now, in my opinion, it's not built for him. We're dealing with tyrants. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with J.D. Vance. We're dealing with a lot of things that it's going to take a grown-ass man to go up there and be able to put some boxing shoes on to be able to fight for our district and the people that are in it. So I tell people, don't waste your vote. Don't waste your vote. Don't get all caught up with, okay, well, I'm going to vote over here and vote over here. I mean, hey, look, the bottom line is only one, and that's me. And if you don't decide to vote for me, that's fine too. I'll love you anyway. I'll keep loving you. And that's the thing about it, Papa Keith. I met so many people and understand so many of the issues that some of them have in the district. I'm gonna still go back and work. If they decide that they want to choose somebody else, I'm still gonna go, and I'm gonna go out to that Hurricane Park, and I'm gonna help those ladies out there because I think the city and the county is doing them a disservice. They should be supporting them more than they should, because of some of the, I've seen a lot of things and a lot of things that need to be straightened out, and I'll lend my support because of the things. And I'm gonna go find that little girl, those 2 little girls, and regardless, and I'm gonna make sure I find those 2 little girls, and I'm going to find the little girl who wanna own and operate her own beauty salon. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna make sure, whether I do it, whether I win or not, I'm gonna help her get her beauty salon. And that other young lady, I'm gonna help her, and the other people in the community that I've met. I'm gonna help that young lady be the interior decorator that she wants to be. Matter of fact, her first interior decorating job is gonna be my house, whether she do it good or not, but I believe in her. You know what I'm saying? And these are the type of things that we do, Papa Keith. And just like you say, all of us came together, because we were doing little things. Khaled, he on the private station, Papa Keith doing over here. We are, hey, look at, man, it ain't about no money, man. It's about, these guys got great talent, and I'm happy to see where y'all at right now today. It was no different than H-Town. I mean, Lorenzo White, icon in Broward County, football player, played for the Houston Oilers. He was the one that introduced me to H-Town in Houston when I went to go see him play. And he said he was taking me to the airport and made sure I missed my flight and took me around the corner. And I met these guys here. Now, that is a guy from Broward County, Lil White, who's a icon, who's a legend football player in Broward County, introduced a dude way back then from Dade County, Luke, man, because we are friends like that. I go see him play, and he then takes me around the corner and meets H-Town, and the rest is history. You see how that worked when we worked together? You know what I'm saying? So we got so many stories, about how we mix and mingle, and I just think it's time that I take my talents to Sistron.
That part.
That's what's
That
up.
part.
Luther,
Shout out to
Uncle Luke
Angela
Campbell.
Sears. Yeah, who's in the chat. Thank you for helping us set this up,
Yeah.
Tangela. Love you.
Yeah,
Uh,
shouts out to Tangela. I left her. I left Tangela over there in Miami.
Uncle Luke, we appreciate you again. All the best on your campaign, and you know what I mean. I love you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Wait, how can people donate and
Yeah, yeah,
support
yeah.
you
Oh,
and follow and all those things?
you can donate by going to my website or be a volunteer. If you can't donate, just be a volunteer. Come knock on some doors with me. We're gonna need some poll workers, not them type of poll workers. We're gonna need some poll workers to help us out. And our office is on Sistrunk. You can go to my website www.luthercampbellforcongress.com. And see the platform, see some of the things in there, do your little research, and if you want to make a campaign contribution, we're a $5 campaign. $5, that's it. If you want to donate more, then that's fine too. But yeah, go to the website and you'll find all the information. And for everybody else, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you all for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, man. It's great. You guys do a great job at what you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle
This
Luke.
is bucket list interview. Thank you.
Thank you,
See
everyone.
you.
Good night, Luke. Oh
Wow.
wow.
You know, like we over an hour
I
and a
thought the
half with
Uncle Luke. Shout
I
out to
know.
Uncle Luke. I wanted to do it so bad, but we
We
gonna
the
keep it
two loud
professional.
crew, 2 for me and 2 for
For
you.
you. Don't stop. I want to do that because we know he has his professional congressional
Ah,
energy. Even though
I
he
know.
played with us a little bit. He's so South Florida, he's so Miami, where the jokes and the personality, what we love about Luke. But for me, that was a bucket list interview. There are certain Miami legends, certain South Florida legends that I want to have
Well,
conversations
for the
with.
record,
So
you made that happen. I didn't. So kudos to you. You made that
well,
happen.
we both played quarterback tonight, but definitely that was like I said, I had to
No,
give
you
Tangela
played
her
quarterback.
kudos.
I played backup quarterback. How about that?
I
played
appreciate you.
backup.
You try to give me way too much, but no, that was good, and thank you again. That's why I had to give Tangela her kudos because she's watching my podcast, that part podcast, and I'm like talking about Luke, and then she's tagging him and like you need to watch this, and then I'm like, can we get him on the that part podcast with me and Papa Keith? And so she definitely had helped us with connecting those dots, and
Yeah.
she's working a forum with a different candidate and she's doing the most. So to people like that behind the scenes, people don't understand. It's like, yeah, we have our connections and our relationships, but it's people like that who help us connect the dots. So it's always
Yeah.
appreciative. And of course, just got to say thank you again to Uncle Luke. That was a dope conversation. He shared a lot. Also, too, I think we need to clip that voting ballot stealing thing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we
Well,
we talk about that stuff inside baseball, but
yeah.
people don't know that's a real thing, especially with them
It is
ballots.
a
That's
real
a
thing.
real
It is a
thing.
real thing. And I'm so happy that I had him kind of discuss that whole conversation about Donald Trump. Actually, I was talking about it after he did it with Officer Daniels, who's calling me right now. I'm still on the podcast, sir. Go back on. We were talking about how that could have possibly damaged, because you know how people are. They'll just see like,
Mhm.
oh, I agree with Donald Trump, and then they run with it,
Exactly.
So I was
Instead
so
of taking
happy.
in a full account to what he said. Yeah.
Right, and how he said it. So I'm very happy that we had an opportunity to have him kind of reiterate on that and really explain himself again,
Yeah.
what he meant by that. Because I knew, off the rip exactly where he was coming from, a place of frustration and kind of like comparing, like, yo, you guys want to demonize Trump for saying these things, but yo, there's some truth to it, and I'm dealing with it. You know what I'm saying?
There's something that's happening here in Broward County
Right.
that is to his point. Now, maybe,
Yep.
you know, what Donald Trump was saying, was that totally accurate? We see that wasn't true, but to his point
Right.
of there is a problem. Here's the other thing too, like maybe that was what Trump was referring to. Because
Mhm.
here's the thing, people know certain things that are in the know, and certain things we don't talk about publicly. The one thing I do love about this election, before we hop off, is the transparency, the honesty. The people who are running, they're like, yo, this is what it is. Like for Luke to say, y'all know, like he like I didn't even know they were doing this with ballots.
Right,
But
right.
it's like shedding a light on a lot of things, right? Where people are like, I didn't know this was happening in local elections, right? Even to like things we are seeing in other races where people are like just speaking out, like, I just had this experience with this person, I had this experience with this thing, and I don't care anymore. I'm going to talk about it. And I think
Yeah,
there's a level of openness and transparency in this election that I've never seen in my 16 years of being a journalist, where people in the community are not saying like, yeah, nah. And even candidates, to like Luke's point, is like, I'm gonna talk about this. But I also think
right,
there's a difference too when you're a self-made man or woman, where Luke don't need the money. Luke don't need to
right.
be a celebrity and be popular to run for office, right? Like, some people get off on that. He is a world-renowned celebrity, already a millionaire, already made his money. So he's not coming in with those type of aspirations because he's already done it on a major level. So it's like, if I'm doing this and being a public servant for real, like this is for real for me, because I could literally, like you said, be on the island, relaxing, chilling, and I don't
That
have to
part.
do this. Like, so that goes to show, like we said, we're not telling you who to vote for, but that does speak to a person's heart and their intentions, because he literally could be doing anything else. Like he could literally be relaxing and getting ready to retire if he wanted to do that, and like not caring and fighting for the people. So that's something to be said. And I think it deserves kudos and a spotlight as well. So like I said, we don't tell you guys who to vote for, but you listen to people's story and read it and listen deeply to what they're saying and what they could, what they're doing to help you make your decision at the ballot.
Yep. Thank you, everyone who's still in the chat room, who tapped in with us. Of course, our friends and families who always support us every week. I think we have 2 more episodes left in this series. Am I
Do we?
mistaken? Yeah,
I
something
think
like
we
that.
do. I think we do. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
2 more episodes left in this series, and we're going to take off a month, and then we'll circle back. It's usually the week of September 11th, and then we have another 8-week episode in the next series leading into the
general
actual
election.
general election. All right, so we'll know who the players are. We'll know who won some seats already, and look forward to us talking to like some of the gubernatorial candidates. That's coming. I've already scheduled some of those interviews, so I'm excited for it, man. It's gonna be some good times, man. We've definitely stepped up. Now, you know what? I'm lying. I was gonna say we don't even want you to sponsor our show, but I'm lying. We do. But I'm just saying we have been just like taking out what we do so seriously that we don't even care at this point anymore whether y'all want to sponsor or support us. We've been growing and we know that we're onto something, and just remember that today's price is not going to be tomorrow's price.
Especially after we don't got Uncle Luke on here. Y'all
Just
better
remember that.
hope you can
Just remember
afford
that.
us. No.
Just remember that. All right. But we appreciate y'all. We hope you have a good rest of your night.
Wait, can I
And
give a quick shout out
of
for my event
course,
tomorrow?
yes.
Politics and Chill Broward Edition is happening tomorrow from 4 to 7 at We Shucking in Pines, Pembroke Pines. Head to our website. We have an article up. It's on Eventbrite, RSVP, so you can attend. So we have a head count. So we still have time. We would love to see y'all tomorrow. If you missed Politics and Chill, Mime Edition, this is definitely a great way to join this conversation. It was such a vibe, right, Papa Keith? Thank you
It
so much for
was.
joining me and doing the mashup of That Part podcast and Can We Talk podcast. And so it's a conversation for us to talk about what we want to see in the future of our communities, the races that we're most interested in, and also to a little bit of political tea and gossip. It's family, it's food, it's
So
refreshments,
good.
it's a vibe. And shout out to our sponsor, We Shuckin', Ernisha Randolph over there. She stepped right up, volunteered her business, and we're doing food and stuff with her. She did catering as well for our Miami event. So shout out to the businesses, and also to CoSpace and Kim Yon said she's gonna kill me, but Custom Creations, I think Creative Creations, gosh,
The
Exquisite
desserts.
Creations LLC
Mhm.
Desserts. So all of our sponsors who have helped us out, TVM Business Solutions, for allowing us to be able to do this event. So definitely wanted to give a plug tomorrow from 7 to 10 p.m. at We Shuckin' Pines restaurant. Please pull up. Please pull up. We're having a Broward focused conversation, and this is for the community. This is our foray into doing community events, and we'll be doing more of these. So just wanted to give a quick plug
Nah,
what we're
for
doing
sure. It's gonna be
tomorrow.
a vibe. Y'all gonna love it. Even if you go there for the I might pop up for the well, I'm popping up to support, of course, but that mac and cheese balls and that salad was busting and the shrimp, the food was amazing. Yeah, it was really good.
Wait, are you
So
hopping on the mic with me, or you just gonna do a dip
nah,
in
nah,
one, two,
nah,
two?
nah, nah. I'm gonna
You
just
doing a
come and
dip in?
support.
You doing a
Come and
dip in?
support.
Okay, okay.
Can I record it? Can I broadcast it or are you gonna broadcast it?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna do something with Hilo. Of course, we also
Okay.
want to do it online. But if we want to do it as another special episode, because I don't know what we
Yeah.
got for Wednesday,
Let
but
me
we
know.
definitely could do that. Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
know if you want to do that. All right.
yeah. Okay.
Well, peace out, y'all. I'm tired.
Good night, y'all. Thank y'all. I see y'all in the comments.
Peace.